Hey everyone, welcome back. This is the Shadowrun 30 Nights Toronto Travel Guide, Episode 2. Just a couple things before I get started. I have made a couple of changes. I'm using a condenser mic instead of the headset microphone. So if you do notice some differences or if you think it's horrible, let me know. I can probably re-record it. But I'm also doing this without my glasses this time to reduce the glare. Downside there is that things get a little blurry. I'm not blind without them, but the text gets a little harder to read, and I may strain my eyes a little bit more. So just bear with me for this. We'll figure something out moving forward. But just a quick recap of what we talked about last time. We went over some just general facts about the population of Toronto as far as how it relates to Shadowrun. We started going over downtown or Old Toronto. Started with the CN Tower. Talked a little bit about the financial district, City Hall, the entertainment district, Cabbage Town, and the Toronto Necropolis. So if you want to know more about those, please go ahead and check out the previous episode. It's got some good stuff in there. Hopefully we'll have even more out of this one. So, for this episode, decided to start with just a map of Toronto itself. So the red line here is our border. And then what I'm going to do, since our first spot was the CN Tower, which is down right around here, for each of the different areas that we have, I'll kind of relate it based off of that. So you can get a sense of perspective, a sense of distance. The maps that I've pulled up will at least start with the map showing both the new location and the CN Tower, so you get that idea of where it's at. So, first one we're going to talk about today is Little Italy. So, Little Italy, as you can see, is just to the northwest of the CN Tower. It's set on a strip of College Street. Its main draw is its classic pizzerias, trattorias, and gelato shops, as well as international restaurants and produce markets. So it looks like it's kind of just an average neighborhood. Let's take a look at some of the photos here. St. Francis of Assisi Roman Catholic Church. If you ask me, I mean, when I think of a cathedral, this is almost what I think of. But really nice, really like the stonework here. Interesting mix of just rough. This is probably just different stone entirely with a different shade. But then also some nice finished pieces for the windows and the towers here. But yeah, nice looking building. Like I said, it looks to me just like an average neighborhood. I actually really like this one with the power lines and everything above it. This one I thought was hilarious just because to me this is Canada. You know, it is either covered in snow or ice or both. But yeah, just whenever I have like I live in Arizona, and whenever my friends from Canada talk about how cold it is or whatever, I always make fun of the fact that, you know, I don't have to shovel sunshine in the summer, but it is also bloody hot. We've got I believe it's the Latvian house. It says above here on the door. Not quite sure what that is, but that's fine. Another just nice average picture. More ice. Probably one of those pizzerias that it was talking about. I'm still in shock that people can wear shorts in Canada, but, you know, what are you going to do? I think somebody's getting punched. But that's Little Italy. Then next one is the Docklands. So I think this is more of a name created by the producers at Shadowrun, or Catalyst, I should say. We got our CN Tower over here. So then the docks are just a little to the east. Yeah, I got this big ship channel turning basin. I'm curious as to how many actual docks or anything are back here. But then obviously you've got, like, you know, small craft slips over here. Yeah. One of the later episodes we'll talk more about these islands over here, but it makes a nice little harbor. Nothing really specific from the book or Google Maps as far as this area, but looks like it's a nice general, you know, harbor area if you need that. Let's see, our next one is Casa Loma. Casa Loma is very wealthy. For Shadowrun, the way they describe it is that large amounts of money are spent to keep people out. We've got our CN Tower down here. So probably about 6 to 10 kilometers away. My guess would be about 4 or 5 miles. So let's zoom in and see if we can get a little bit of a look over here. So as you can see, it's not very dense as far as the housing. Some over here is kind of dense. But Casa Loma actually gets its name from the Casa Loma Castle, which was originally built in from 1911 to 1914. And it was a private residence until 1923, when the owner lost it due to financial difficulties. After he built it, one of the things that he tried to do was sell property in this area because he felt that all the other wealthy people would want to live near him. So, but I want to zoom in on the castle itself, if I can get it to... There we go. Because there's a lot of really, really cool pictures on here. Let's see. It's been variously used as a hotel for a few years, not that often, or not that long, but it was used as a hotel. It's been a museum, an event center, and a filming location. It was also used during World War II as a research station to develop and construct sonar devices. One of the interesting things about that is that it was done near the stables, which I'm not sure if we'll have a picture of, but it was done near the stables, and they just put up a sign that, you know, just said that it was, you know, that it was being refurbished. And so that was how they were able to, you know, protect the cover and the workers going in and out, because they just looked like, you know, workers and craftsmen going in to work on the stable area. And it is also rumored to be the location of Station M, which was used to manufacture covert devices for agents. Unfortunately, outside of like some escape room games, things like that, I really couldn't find any more information about it. But, you know, obviously it could be used for some good hooks for different Shadowruns or whatever else you want to use it for. But let's take a look at some of the pictures here. Obviously a nice view of Toronto with the CN Tower over here on the right. You know, this really is just a fantastic building. looks like it's probably set up around Christmas time for that picture. Just massive gardens and area around it. But people have weddings here. There's a couple of restaurants. The escape room that I was talking about, I believe, is actually run out of here as well. I did read in some of the tourist information that, you want to make sure that you check out the secret passage, so those were built into the castle as well. But yeah, just really, really gorgeous looking building. See, to me, this is Canada. We have plenty of snow everywhere. All right. Next one is Moorpark. So we've got our CN Tower down here, and Moorpark up here. From our previous episode, I believe the necropolis is down here, so we're going a bit farther out, and looks like we're about a few kilometers, couple of miles away from Casa Loma. So the 30 Nights book describes this as like Casa Loma, but with train tracks. And when I was first looking at these maps, I couldn't quite find them, but the train tracks actually run right here along this south edge of Casa Loma. So, if you're wondering, that's where they are. It is more isolated than the other areas. As you can see, there's a large cemetery up here, the Mount Pleasant Cemetery. We've got this green belt over here on the left. You've got the train tracks on the bottom. Another green belt for Mud Creek going through the middle. And, kind of hooks up with this other neighborhood over here, over on the right. But for the most part, it is definitely isolated. The book says if Casa Loma is where the wealthy people put on a show, Moorpark is where they do things they don't want the rest of the world to see. And I definitely think you could get some mileage out of that. Let's take a look at some pictures. Not sure where that is, but that's kind of cool. Not sure if it's just a regular Catholic church or maybe a different branch or maybe just generic Christian. Don't know. Yes, I realize I could have looked that up, but I'm just trying to get some visuals so that everybody kind of has an idea. Here's some houses in the area. That's a nice house. I would not mind living in a house like that. Not that mine is bad. I just like the look of that. Nice little bridge. The Moorpark Ravine. So this is probably that green belt running down the middle. Not sure where that water's running off from, but that looks old. There's our CN Tower off in the distance. All right, I don't think we're getting much different out of there. So that's Moorpark. Then we've got a couple of more. We've got the University of Toronto. So we got our CN Tower here. And the University of Toronto up in this area. A couple of things. There are a couple of major hospitals. Toronto General, Women's College, Hospital for Sick Children, and Mount Sinai. So, definitely not minor hospitals, but also, right next to the university. You've also got the Ontario Legislative Assembly, or Legislative Assembly of Ontario, whichever way is appropriate to say. We'll take a look at that one as well, but let's get some pictures of University of Toronto. That looks kind of cool. These buildings all look old, which is cool. I mean, I keep saying that, but, figure these are probably 100-year-old buildings. Still standing, still in use. Definitely something where I think that, in the world of Shadowrun, they would still have those things around. I mean, it's not that far in the future. Especially considering that the main Shadowrun timeline starts in about 2050. I mean, obviously, everything up until then, but the original setting started about 2050. So, that's not that far from now, so it would still be around. That's fantastic. Some sort of a quad. Interesting little clock tower. I have no idea what that is, but it's fantastic. Definitely an old Gothic feel to it. Sorry for zooming along, just trying to find some different things. Anyways. Well, that's the University of Toronto. One thing I did think that was interesting between the map compared to all of those pictures is that there is a football field. And I saw no pictures of it. At least not from the college. There's probably some directly for it, but it's football. I like to assume they'll still play football in 2080. All right, let's take a look at the Legislative Assembly. Give it a minute to load. Thought I saw those in the college pictures. Very neat. It's really like this rough stone mixed with the finished stone. There seems to be a lot of that in Ontario. Or Toronto is what I meant. Sorry. Looks like that's the entire province of Ontario. Definitely need to go visit Canada at some point. I know too many people up there to not. Anyways, but I think that's a nice little detour of capital of Ontario. All right, our last stop today, Ryerson University. Here's our CN tower. Come on. Sorry about this, guys. Alright, so there's the Legislative Assembly. There's those hospitals we mentioned earlier. And here's Ryerson University. So not too far from Old Town, the Toronto City Hall, or the University of Toronto. But let's see if we can get some pictures of it. So it didn't seem like there was much of a large campus for Ryerson. Might only be just a few buildings, but I think I went a little too fast. That looks really cool. Obviously, sometimes you gotta make way for new things. Not that we should get rid of all the old stuff, but sometimes. That looks cool. It's gotta be copper. Copper will tarnish green. Ah, now that's Canada. Snow everywhere, playing hockey in the park. Eberton Ryerson? Okay. Anyways, definitely some cool pictures there. I do know that Shadowrun's always made a big deal about still having the universities. I believe it was MIT that is now MITT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology and Thaumaturgy. So with the addition of magic into the world, the university is applying that and bringing that into the university. I always thought that was kind of interesting. But definitely some fun locations here. Really looking forward to digging in some more and finding some more locations and coming up with some good story ideas for this campaign. So anyways, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Obviously, if you've got any questions, comments, please put them down below. Definitely give a like and subscribe if you don't mind. But I look forward to doing another episode and showing you off some more of what I find in Toronto. Thanks.